paying enough attention to my health bar too. Only got time for one full run attempt, so if I die early, I'm just gonna start over. Yeah, that was a lot of fun too. I certainly would not have minded a better time slot than 1 to 5 in the morning, but do it on my birthday at least. And I mean, without saying, I'm grateful to have gotten the opportunity at all, any time of day. Yeah, exactly. I don't think it's too likely that Lufia 2 is going to get into GDQ again anytime soon, so... Glad I got to show it off once. Things change over time. I mean, that's part of why RPG Limit Break exists. Not a bad layer cleanup there. And I was at almost full health that time. Oh yeah, I think somebody said earlier, never seen this game before. I should probably talk a little bit more. So this is Soul Blazer, a kind of an early Super Nintendo action RPG made by Quintet, published by Enix. It's made, the same people that made this made the ActRaiser games, so if anybody's already noticed the pretty heavy similarities in the HUD at the top of the screen and some of the sound effects, like the sound of you taking damage and stuff exploding, yes, that is reused assets from ActRaiser. Kind of the premise of the game is that the devil, aka the Deathtoll, has imprisoned most of the souls in the world in monster lairs. That I'm playing as an angel called the Soul Blazer, who's been tasked by God, aka the Master, to come down to Earth to rescue the souls. Beat Deathtoll. Yes. Yeah, it's part of a very loosely connected trilogy of action RPGs on the Super Nintendo. Soul Blazer, Illusion of Gaia, and Terranigma. Illusion of Gaia was one of my very first speed games, but I've come to enjoy this one a bit more. I do definitely recommend giving this game a play too if you like old school action RPGs. One selling point I really like to make for it too is that it doesn't overstay its welcome at all. This is like a, I don't know, like a 8-10 hour casual play, if even that. Oh yeah, Terranigma cartridges I know are quite expensive. Yeah, if anyone's never even heard of Terranigma, too, I mean, that's because it was not released in North America at all. Enix, it was Enix or Quintet or both. I'm blanking on which. Had their office in North America close before Terranigma came out, so it was released in PAL regions, but not in North America. Given how shafted Europeans and Australians were on Super Nintendo RPGs in general, I'm fine with them having a really nice game all to their own. I mean, at least you gave it a try. I mean, yeah. I mean, the fact that I don't have childhood nostalgia for Terranigma definitely hurts a bit, even though I do like it. And I'm also not the biggest fan of how you start the game with all of the combat abilities you'll ever use, too, at least for physical attacks. I kind of like how I like Illusion of Gaia's style a bit more, where you unlock new abilities as you throughout the game. Now we get to get our Freddy Krueger on with kind of a cool mechanic called the Dream Rod, where you can enter whenever you run in. I mean, yeah, whenever you release souls, they come back to town, and some of the souls are asleep, and then that's always a cue that you can use the Dream Rod to enter their dreams, and then cause stuff to happen in the real world. In this case, opening a barrier to get to the last section of the underground castle. We just kind of run away. And, oh yeah, that's Lisa, who's the daughter of Dr. Leo, the inventor. Dr. Leo was a scientist that was forced to create a machine that would summon Deathtoll. Backstory of the game. This isn't really a particularly story-heavy game. Like, there aren't really a lot of cutscenes or anything until pretty close to the end. But little story there is involves Lisa fairly heavily over time. And then, whenever you die in this game, too, you do not lose progress. You get kicked back to the Master's Shrine, which is kind of your hub for each of the game's 7 worlds, and you lose any gems that you have, which are your just MP for casting spells effectively, but because of that, there's a lot of intentional deaths in this run in order to cut out backtracking. Leo's painting, second dungeon. Kind of the challenge factor here is that whenever you release a soul, you get healed a little bit, kind of proportional based on. I guess I forget if it's tied explicitly tied by which world you're in, or if it's like a percentage base of your current HP. But there's no required souls to rescue inside Leo's painting, so means I need to be more mindful of taking damage. Well, this game definitely had a different composer than ActRaiser. ActRaiser was a pretty famous composer by the name of Yuzo Koshiro. He did like the Streets of Rage games and the called Etrian Odyssey, the early Ys games. I can't tell you who the composer for this game is. He definitely did some pretty good work. I'm a big fan of the bass sound that the music in this game uses. Thinking on where to stand to not take damage from these, and since I already got hit twice, I'm just gonna play this one safe. Hey Judo Gatsu, welcome in. There was an armor upgrade that I skipped as part of the underground castle too, so I'm taking basically double damage to kind of what I'm intended to be taking at this point, along with still being a little underleveled. Every time you level up too, you get a full heal, and that's important for the speedrun route in a couple places, like here. We want to make sure we're at full health going into the first boss. Medical herbs are kind of like reserve tanks from Super Metroid. Alright. Okay. And we've successfully poked Solid Arm to death. Yukihide Takekawa. Okay. That name sounds vaguely familiar from the credits. Yeah, it's by far the fastest way to beat Solid Arm is just to get in his face and poke him, because if you hold the L or R buttons like this, you hold your sword out and can poke enemies. Conventional death to get back to town faster. A dull focus, welcome in. A Euler Ultima, welcome in. So we're kind of just introduced to the flow of the game too, where after we beat each boss, we release the leader of the town, who then gives us one of the stones we'll eventually need in order to Deathtolls world at the end. Alright, so we're off to Greenwood, the second world. This is an any percent run, so a big part of the challenge factors for learning this run too is just remembering which players to seal and which to skip. Got really lucky with the jump drops, so I was able to actually fight those bushes already. Normally I have to wait until I'm the other side of the lake, which after this next dungeon area. Hey James Chungus, look in. Every enemy that you kill is guaranteed to drop some kind of gem. Gems just being MP for casting spells effectively. But the drop rate for bigger gems gradually goes up as you progress through the game. There's numerous areas where just how lucky you are with gem drops matters a lot as far as just how fast strats you're able to use for clearing out specific layers. Yeah, who's the mole? Is it the mole? Basically fighting two layers at the same time. The top one is optional, but it's gonna gives me some extra gems and also an item called the Strange Bottle. Lets me do one death warp without losing gems. Saving that for later. The theme for the shrines here is just so sublimely chill too. This is one of two optional layers I'm gonna do in order to get the ice armor, which is something that very high level runs of this game skip, but I get just to be able to consistently finish runs. It's about 2.5 minutes or so, I want to say, and makes a pretty big difference in a couple spots. This game doesn't really have tons of RNG or randomness, but there are some bits of it, and one of them is these bushes here, just because their movement patterns are random and they're invincible when they're extending vines. Hey, Lord Nicto, welcome in. Thanks for the raid. Stream was a good one. Plateau of Rada. No! Old Bruce Campbell. Welcome in, everybody. I am Poexel. Do speedruns of classic RPGs. I'm doing Soul Blazer on the Super Nintendo tonight. Yeah, for sure. I know the term hidden gem has become kind of overused nowadays, but I do think that term definitely applies to this game. Well, I do have another medical herb that I should have equipped right now, but yeah, if I have to use it early, that's going to cost a fair bit of time in the next section. Fire Shrine. You're pretty much intended to go back to Greenwood and get the ice armor at this point, because that lets you actually walk over these heated tiles safely. I mean, I will eventually be getting it, but I'm not gonna get it quite yet. Not using the ice armor here does save for a bit of time. It would basically just mean having to make an extra trip back to town, and I wouldn't really be saving that much time here because of having the ice armor earlier. Like if I'd have taken less damage upstairs, I'd be just taking more intentional damage, just walking across the heated tiles. Right about here is where I normally want to use the medical herb. Still gonna, just for safety, I'm gonna wait an extra cycle here. Like a really high level run would not be taking unplanned damage from fights, and would just have enough health to be able to just tank all of the fire bridges. For them to stop. My actual PB at this, by the way, is a 146.40. I'm just running against averages. This is a PB attempt. Oh yeah, and we also picked up the light arrows, which is more or less the best spell in the game. For the cost of 8 gems, we can do quite a bit of damage. Get multiple hits with the right setup, too. This is where the fact that I was able to kill those bushes because of getting lucky gem drops earlier across the lake there comes in handy. Hey, Somnus Iridus, welcome in. Oh yeah, Greenwood, by the way, too, is where we really start getting introduced to another one of the game's themes, which is that it's not just human beings that have souls, plants and animals do too. So basically all of the souls that we're releasing in Greenwood are plants and animals. So meeting Turbo the dog, because Dr. Leo, the inventor, is the central characters in the story, had a lot of pets, and one of them was Turbo the dog. And this is going to be the only optional companion soul that we pick up. Let us see in the dark spaces. If you memorize the layout of the light shrine, you don't need the soul of light, but just getting it for consistency. This tree stump stream here I like to view as likely unintentional foreshadowing for the ending of Terranigma, as far as the tree stump dreaming that it's a bird and can fly anywhere. Alright, so we now have the ice armor, and we have better defense and can walk over most types of heated tiles without taking damage. Even though we're basically past where it's useful in this world, it's going to be very, very useful in World 5. More types of heated tiles. Main reason we had to go back to town there was to get the leaves of Greenwood, which we need to get these rafts to take us across. Rafts are alive. Section here I like to call the shooting gallery. Just, shooting light arrows pretty indiscriminately. I made 2 detours for extra gem chests too, just to make sure I'm here. Hey, Kodiak Games. Yeah, this is the first and unfortunately only run of the evening. We have time for one tonight. Try to make it count. So I'm doing a little extra commentary too. There's people watching that have never seen this game before too. Here I'm doing some kind of advanced tech where every time I kind of make this loop around here, it's actually spawning one of the next round of teleporting lizards off screen. Killed a couple of them. I don't know if it's possible to actually just flat out kill all of them, like spawn and kill all of them like that, but that definitely saves some time to kill like 3 or 4 of them, I think, there with one shot. So this is where having the Soul of Light lets me actually see what I'm doing. It's not really that bad without it, because you are still able to see these torches in the wall. Just with some practice, it's not that hard to memorize the movement patterns here, but I've always kept this as an extremely casual speed game that I just do a couple of runs a year of. Usually in the springtime. It's a bit later this year because of other commitments I had in the spring. Yeah, it's because I don't really put a lot of practice or willingness to reset. This game, just let's go for extremely safe and consistent strats. Just gonna grab a safety save here too, just in case I died. This is really the only place I'm actually gonna save the game, just because if I die to the next boss, then it would be better to reset and reload than to try to keep going because I'd lose my gems. Not having gems was awful for the start of World 3. Hey Barrett, thank you. Nice. This is basically the hardest boss in the whole game, actually, for your speedrun at least. It's 3 lion head statues. Their AI can be manipulated, but if you lose control of any of them, then they will basically steamroll and kill you pretty quickly. There's faster strats for killing the second and third heads, but I'm just going safe and reliable here. This one, as long as I can tank 2 hits, then it gets into this loop here where it'll never hit me again. Alright. About needing to come pick up the green stone here. Now we're on to St. L's World 3, which is more or less the longest world in the game as far as the amount of required stuff to get to the boss. About to hear some really banger music, in my opinion, too, for the islands of St. L's. This is where the extra defense from the ice armor can help, too. If you're a starvman. These black clam enemies here that are awful to have to fight without magic. You can either kill them with 1 shot of light arrows or like 10 plus hits or so with your sword. There's some pretty swag multi-hit kills you can do in some sets of them too. So a drawback to my route with getting the ice armor and the strange bottles that I actually level up twice actually right before I'm intending to take an intentional death in this world. If I ever take this game more seriously, one of the first things I want to do is to try to adjust the experience routing a bit so that I don't do that. You're told not to rush constantly, but this is kind of a speed run. This is actually the first required armor. This lets you breathe underwater, but putting it on quite yet. I do want to take some damage here to set up another death warp. Now we're releasing the first of 4 mermaid statues, which kind of each dungeon area in St. L's, the goal of is to release one of these statues, which unlocks the next dungeon until finally we get to the boss. Okay. Misty. So now we put on the bubble armor. Hey, Lord Mike Oakman. The RNG with these jellyfish as far as we're doing. Heading for, I believe it's called Rockbird. Yeah, it was South Erta was the first island, and then Rockbird is the second one. There is optional, but it's a really good idea unless you're like trying to gun for record or something to get that medical herb. If you don't have that, you run the risk of dying on the next island just purely because of bad luck. Got the triple swag carrier. Oh, okay. Maybe I'm gonna have 3 level ups right before death warps in this run. Maybe I must have gotten some extra kills in World Tours, or actually you know what? It's because I killed some extra monkeys here. Supposed to kind of hang out in the northwest corner of this room so that the monkeys on the south don't spawn. I killed too many of them and got level 8 ahead of schedule. Durian, the next island we're going to, is a volcano, and we're actually skipping 2 things that would make it considerably safer. The first is a soul that protects you from falling magma, and then the second is the mermaid tears, which is kind of intended to be a required story item, but just with health management and in my case, a medical herb, I can get out of needing it. A book cicada, SGL, and or blame ever hate forever. Hey Norimaki. Annoying as these tornado birds are, never have to fight more than 2 of them at a time, which is nice. The game developers knew that birds are jerks. Yeah, these falling fireballs here. If I had the companion soul from St. El's, that would protect me from them. Because I don't have that, might have skipped the medical herb in Rockbird, the last island. Then if I take too much damage, either just from fights or from falling magma balls, then I'm not going to be able to finish this place before I just die from planned damage from walking on magma. I have the medical herb equipped, so hopefully not though, because that would then make the lava walk scary. Should be good at this point though. Rescuing Lou the dolphin, who's another one of Dr. Leo's many pets. So yeah, again, what you're intended to do here is actually to go to the top of the volcano and then use an item called the Mermaid's Tears to cool down the magma here. Get to the lair here that has the third mermaid statue safely, but just managing health, and in my case using a medical herb lets me get out of that. And then having the magma still around is nice for more optimal death warps too. Yeah, especially if you don't know, if you miss the companion soul, Durian Island is extremely annoying because of the falling fireballs. Now we're about to get an extremely cool combat item that sadly is only going to be used once, but that one and only use of it is unavoidable. Thunder Ring, which lets us call down thunder from the master when we touch certain pyramids, which only exist on the next island we're going to. Hey Xenos, welcome in. Ooh, conveyor belt current here. The fact that we still have the level 1 sword, the Sword of Life, stings a little bit as far as just how slowly crabs die. Need the Thunder Ring in order to kill these metal monkeys here that are guarding the 4th and final mermaid statue. Taking intentional damage here because I'm death warping as soon as I'm done here. Basically, I moved my equip cursor onto an empty slot there in order to basically pre-equip the power bracelet, the next item I'm getting. Alright, so with that, we've unlocked the way to the boss now on the ghost ship. Ship is pretty much just a glorified boss arena. Has a little bit of cool lore behind it too. If you I think if you use the Dream Rod on a dolphin or something, at some point around here, you get a little bit of extra lore about people that went down with the ship. A big part of why I do recommend playing this game, if this looks fun at all to you. There's a lot of really neat lore and backstory and stuff to a lot of these worlds too that we're just not seeing in the speedrun. It's all optional. Safety heal before I go to the good. So and then I basically just for free, effectively, by just opening that chest, we get one of the best items in the game, too, the power bracelet, which basically just doubles all damage that you do with your sword, whether you're swinging or poking. Be immediately putting that to use on Skullmaster, this boss. Something that apparently the skeleton of something that had a huge head and tiny little hands. Quite a bit easier than the lion head statues in the second world. But if you do actually get hit, Skullmaster hits like a truck. Yeah, it's all right. I mean, I like the boss music in Illusion of Gaia and Terranigma better. Probably Illusion of Gaia the best of the three, but it's pretty solid in this game too. Probably the thing that does it the most for the Illusion of Gaia boss theme is how the rhythm gets kind of irregular at one point too. Hey, Nitrodon! Heal, Ender, blame, ever hate to use. Hope you're doing alright. Yeah, Dr. Roxor, PhD, yes, definitely. Now we're heading off to the Mountain of Souls, the fourth world. This is a pretty neat world in the speedrun, just because the way combat works is going to be changing pretty substantially soon. Is basically the fact that that we still have not gotten any better swords would just cause a lot of problems here. So as soon as we rebuild our gem supply and then pick up the magic armor, we're going to be doing most of our combat with magic here. Breath of Fire Punch. Welcome, Gun Arm Dime. If you're streaming well. Vile snowballs here. Totally impervious to weapons, but you can destroy them by making them run into walls or rocks. This chest I'm skipping here is empty. So the magic armor has a nice passive buff where it halves the gem cost for spells. That's one thing I really like about this game is that most of the weapons and armor have some kind of passive ability or buff or something to them, so that each piece of gear kind of has a unique feel to it. It's not just a linear progression where each one is just better stats than the last. The armors I have, one lets me walk on hot stuff without damage, one lets me breathe underwater, and then the new one I just got to use twice as much magic. Oh, congrats on finishing the Fiesta. What were your jobs for that? Trying to kind of thread the needle to avoid aggroing these moosets here. that one though, and I was wondering, like, where's the Yeti? Because normally I'm gonna kill a bunch of Yetis here. Yeah, and I mean, there's no direct connections at all, as far as I know. But in some ways, I do like to view this game as kind of a spiritual successor to Crystalis, as far as just kind of how the gameplay and combat work. But with better quality of life because of just being a Super Nintendo game with a lot more buttons on your controller. I love Crystalis. It's probably my favorite action RPG on the NES. But there are a couple things about it that I don't think hold up super well, just because it's an NES game and don't have a lot of buttons to work with. Hey, Rotorstorm, thank you very much for the raid. Hey, Team Murdoch. Your blame ever hate. Hey, Rocco, thanks for the luck. So the Thunder Ring was a very cool item that we're only using once. The Mushroom Shoes are a much less cool item that we're also only going to be using once. Hey, Rotorstorm, thanks for the raid. Stream was. Yep, that was, yeah, people not in the know, BL and or blame ever hate was often what ever hate said when joining somebody's stream. I guess this is a nice demo of what the mushroom shoes actually do. You actually walk on this ice without slipping. It's not just mushrooms for shoes, it's mushrooms with snail goo on the bottom of them for shoes. So yeah, sometimes challenging to remember to re-equip the power bracelet after being done with the mushroom shoes. Oh, and by the way, I was also incorrect in saying I'm only using the mushroom shoes once. I'm going to be using them twice. I love the visual effect of the icicles, stalagmites, I believe, on the ceiling there. Very, very important not to aggro those wizards, because they can teleport and they're invincible while teleporting. Really bad. Not really bad as far as risking death or anything, but bad as far as being slow. Yes, I saw I got a nice 40 viewer raid from you. Definitely appreciated. What were you up to tonight, Rotorstorm? Killing these bats in one shot of the light arrows actually takes a fair bit of skill. That's one kind of cool and unique thing about this game, that is the way the magic system works, that the spell shots all originate from your rotating companion soul rather than from you directly. And that results in having kind of, as far as trying to really optimize the combat, work with that. Oh, beginner guides, nice. Sounds cool. Yeah, I would definitely call Beastmaster and Blue Mage game FAQs jobs, as far as jobs that are extremely extremely useful if you know what to do with them, and pretty terrible if you don't. Let's do that one. I get the lucky blade there, which is actually later going to be required, but even though I'm not high enough level to actually swing the lucky blade, having it equipped lets me get its passive ability of just getting bigger gem drops. Second and final time I'll be using the mushroom shoots. Yeah, this game does have kind of a, in my opinion, odd mechanic where each sword has a minimum level you need to be in order to swing it. I say odd just because if you play this game casually, you are never going to have any issues. You're always going to be the right level for each sword when you get it, if you're taking care of every layer in the game. But I am able to somewhat cheat the level requirements in that even if I can't actually swing the sword, I can get passive benefits from equipping the swords, and I can poke too. All these bats, and then gonna bait them. I mean, with 128 gems, I probably don't even really need to do this, but just out of habit, kind of bring the bats with me to fight the wizards here. It's for gem efficiency. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, there's a lot. Yeah, the last time I played FF5, I definitely got reminded of just how few enemies there are with actual good steals in FF5 compared to especially 6. Where like pretty much every boss in the game has a good steal, and a lot of regular enemies too. Right here is where I've never actually done it myself, but if you don't have the lucky blade, this guy here will not let you pass for some reason. It's actually a required item. Just weird. I mean, maybe it makes more sense if you actually trigger the dialogue. But here I'm doing kind of a cool mechanic where you can actually kind of, if you press up against walls, you can detach the companion soul from rotating around you and set up cool multi-hit light arrows that way. It's 2 layers and just wait for all the enemies to spawn. Get anything out of killing them earlier. Alright, coming up on the end of world. We could just go straight up and fight the boss right now, but there's some souls I need to eventually release. Not like that. Well, that will eventually be required, albeit not right now. Hey, Einline Zero, come in. Catching the orb here to snipe those vampires. Hey, Chris Gwynn. Yeah, the slap bass instrument in this game's sound font is so good. I could not name another Super Nintendo game that uses a bass instrument like this, and I love it. Careful with gems at this point, since I'm going to be death warping after the boss. With that, we get to release the Dancing Grandmas. We're eventually going to be required for beating the game. Oh yeah, Lagoon. Fight Poseidon. Oh, Battletoads and Battle Maniacs has slap bass too, right? Plus, it's pretty easy to manipulate what it does. The only thing I can't control is whether it goes to the left or right side every other cycle, but it doesn't matter as far as speed. Even if I kill it on the right side, I still have to wait for it to finish exploding to, excuse me, to, be able to release the king. Oh yeah, Capcom has an amazingly distinctive, sound font, that's for sure. Like, I think it shows a lot in the Mega Man X games and also in Breath of Fire 1 and 2. So even though we just released the king, we're not actually going to talk to him yet. The king does not actually have the stone that we need. That is held by Gnome the Snail, another one of Dr. Leo's many diverse pets. We are going to eventually need to talk to the Mountain King later before going to fight the final boss. But we do have to release the king in order to be able to talk to Gnome, though. Before that happens, there's jail bars in our way. I've got massive respect for anybody that puts time into making guides for other people for video games of any flavor. Do I ever speedrun other Quintet games? I have not in a pretty long time, but I used to run Illusion of Gaia as well. At some point I do want to at least do a run of Terranigma, just so that I can say I've run all 3 games in the trilogy. I've also toyed with the idea of learning ActRaiser Professional mode a few times, too. No, Capcom did not do Illusion of Gaia, that was Quintet. It was the main RPG series on the SNES, at least, that Capcom did was Breath of Fire. Oh yeah, the music for Leo's lab here is banging too. Yeah, this particular dungeon area is the hardest dungeon area in the whole game for the speedrun. Because of this. Here, there's enemies here that we can only damage with the Zentetsu sword, but you have to be level 16 to actually swing it. Going to be getting around that by poking, but we don't do a whole lot of damage by poking. We take a lot of damage if we get hit, so careful. And this is also where I get more payoff from getting the ice armor back in World 2. There's more upcoming heated tiles. If I don't have the ice armor, then I just cannot take much unplanned damage combat here, or else I just won't have enough health to get to the end. Like the optimal route, which doesn't get the ice armor, kind of relies on a on both a medical herb and then a heal from a level up in order to survive the next part of the basement. All these rocket mice, they move very fast along the corners of the room. Do not want them to get away too, because they have to wait a pretty long time for them to loop back. Gets away. Not take damage from the ice. Or, I'm sorry, from the fire. Wearing ice. Fairly difficult fight here. Fortunately, there's only 3 of these. Yeah, same book cicada. I find it very charming, personally, that there's kind of so much stuff that's reused between Quintet's games. Oh yeah, and then here's where we find out it's not just humans, not plants and animals that have souls, but also doors and stairs and household plants and stuff have souls as well. So I don't actually need to kill these helicopters, but I had a nasty death in practice a while back because of just ignoring them and they get getting out of control. So I'm just gonna clear safety. Ah. Plus. Yeah, let's respawn them. It's faster than waiting for the last one to come back. Oh yeah, the Sky Garden. Caterpillars, especially on the bottom side, are annoying. Because they can hurt you when they explode and they die. That's how that fight's supposed to go. And with that, weird. If I killed these helicopters, I could get a warp tile to get out of here, but it's a little faster to death warp. We've been talking about ActRaiser a few times as far as a somewhat better known game made by the same team called of Quintet, but in this next pair of areas we're going to the model towns. I kind of like to view as product placement for ActRaiser just because the looks of the model towns here just feel very, very inspired by the simulation stages in ActRaiser to me. What happened to my... Hit a sprite limit or something? Yeah, same, J-Warbs. Because yeah, there's a bunch of reused music and other sound effects and visual assets between this game and ActRaiser, then between ActRaiser 2 and Illusion of Gaia. Yeah, I love these model towns. They're just so delightfully weird. The companion soul I'm skipping in Leo's lab is one that lets you see invisible enemies. Fortunately, you do not. Fortunately, like Arnold Schwarzenegger once said, if it bleeds, we can kill it. You don't actually need to be able to see this world to be able to kill them. Why are they invisible? Just to have an excuse to have another companion soul. Now that I'm level 16, I can actually swing the Zentetsu sword, which lets me do that. Estimate how many Lilliputian soldiers are in that one. Really, really low on jumps here. So it's chest for safety. Because we're going to the next model town, which is right next door. We just walk out instead of death warp, because death warping would take us back downstairs and be a lot slower. After this place, though, we'll be death warping. Second model town's very, very short, too. There's only one layer we have to seal here. Forgot where the ones on the east side are. Glad I got those extra gems. Not want to die early here. Well, because of how low my health is, I don't even need to de-equip my armor now. Those invisible enemies are pretty freaky looking if you can actually see them too. They're basically evil spiked houses. Kind of like the Hell House in Final Fantasy VII, actually. Alright, so now we're about to see just how trivial those horrible helicopter enemies, how trivial they are if you're actually properly leveled. I just consider the level requirements for using swords in this game to be kind of odd, given that it's not something you're really ever going to run into playing the game casually. Light armor, just basically for extra defense. Yeah, feels pretty likely that the more caterpillar enemies in here were Gaia in the Sky Garden. It's not the exact same sprite work though, like the Illusion of Gaia version is bigger. Alright, time to fight Tyndall, the 5th boss. Pretty fast fight, one way or the other, whether I win or lose. Basically, as long as I don't move too far to the left or right, the doll will kind of be locked into that that column of movement, and I can poke it to death. But I do need to at least try to dodge some of the fireballs it shoots, because if I just face tank all of them, then I'll die before it does. Being past Leo's lab is always a relief. Get a little break from rescuing pets, and we rescue a doll. That gives us the stone. I might upload this to YouTube, actually, just because I've been doing a commentary run, which I don't know if I ever really have for this game before, and it's been going alright, too. I mean, it's not, like, amazingly good or anything, but there haven't been any huge disasters. Well, I'm running against averages. My real PB is a 146. I'm almost certainly running a couple minutes behind pace for that. If I don't have any unplanned deaths or anything else bad happen, this be a decent enough time by my standards. Like, if it's like sub 155, I'll be pretty happy. Here I'm trying to do, but really the only thing in this game that you could really call a useful glitch, which is if you change which sword you have equipped mid-swing, then you'll take on the properties of the new sword, and you can use that to cheat level requirements. It's pretty slow, so it's not used very often, but just because of how long these ghosts take to kill through poking some patterns that they give, it makes sense to use the sword swap glitch to try to get a free hit. There's actually a more advanced version of it too, where you kind of flick in and out of the menu to do the glitch multiple times on the same swing. It's a lot harder than it sounds though, because you have separate buttons to open and close the menu in this game. It's select to open and Y to close. You're having to kind of rhythmically mash the two buttons. Final companion soul in the game lets you see invisible secrets, basically. In this case, you can see these secret chests and later secret passages and staircases. But like a lot of things, if you know where it is, not a problem. Yes, you can open the chests if you can. You'll bonk into the chests while they're invisible. Doing the tech there, pressing up against the wall in order to detach the soul orb. And shoot these energy orbs here without aggroing them. I took out most of one of the ghosts' health bars with the sword swap glitch. This is the much safer and more stable way to kill them. Just to stand kitty cornered in the lair like this. Equipping the strange bottle I picked upstairs in order to be able to do a death warp without losing gems. Carry gems over to the next tower. Something like Lisa. Oh, gee, I wonder what her name. We get a little taste of the credits theme for the game, too. Hearing a lot more of it after the final boss, though. really get the banging bass here for the Greenwood Castle Towers. These purple dites here I like to refer to as shredders for what I hope are kind of obvious reasons. Yeah, and these knights do actually follow chess knight rules too, as far as how they jump. Hey, get cool. When I hit level 19, then I can swap to actually swing the spirit sword. I'm done fighting ghosts, I still want to use the spirit sword for better damage output. And golems or whatever they are there. And here, when I'm releasing the souls in these prisons, it's important that I release Dr. Leo before releasing the other soldier, just because that actually saves a fair bit of time on dialogue here. Hey, Fasilov, thank you, thank you. Happy with the GD cube? There isn't really a convenient way to death warp here. Very... But thou must question we need to answer here to get a VIP card to let us into the tower. Yes, this game was made by the same studio that made ActRaiser. Those sound effect similarities are 100% correct. Fireballs do considerably less damage than the enemies do. So choose to get hit by the fireball. Like a little too much damage there, but I should be okay by this point. There's no music reused, it's just sound effects. Like, this game has a completely different composer from ActRaiser. Probably would have died, actually. Up there. So now we get longest cutscene in the game. One of the only cutscenes in the game, really. Get to meet Dr. Leo. I don't fully really understand what's going on here too, and I'm sure a lot of it's just lost in translation. Much as I love this game, Quintet's English localizations weren't great. But I kind of gathered that Queen Magrid was really behind the whole plot to summon Deathtoll. Seal all the souls in the world. Smaller font to imply that he's whispering. This is the part I just do not understand for the life of me, too. He's giving us a key and telling us to escape Queen Magrid and her goons on the airship, and then proceeds to blow himself up along with Queen Magrid and her goons. But then we go get on the airship anyway. I mean, it all works out in the end because this is how we release King Magrid's soul, but it just doesn't really make sense to me from a story perspective. Now we get to meet the biggest source of randomness in the game, which is the Demon Falcon, aka Bird. Either shoot fireballs or swoop, and each swoop wastes a couple seconds. Pretty atrocious. Each cycle, as far as I know, is 50-50. World record with video proof, by the way, is 22 dives. Well, that was pretty slow, but we got him. Definitely something that makes trying to grind for good times at this game pretty disheartening. The biggest source of RNG is so late into the game. I kind of lost count after a while. That was like 8, 9 dives, maybe? I know it was close to 10. Get a incomplete declaration of love from a girl we invaded the dreams of and otherwise have barely met, but it's all good. Or how you answer her question too, as far as I know. Next speed. I'd say it probably is just by virtue of the fact that you'd have to select the second dialogue option. pick up an upgraded power bracelet here. Got the super bracelet that also increases our defense power and attack power. Forgotten to either get this or equip it a few times, and it really, really hurts when you get to the final world to not have the extra defense power. Alright, so we've collected the 6 stones to unlock the World of Evil, where Deathtoll, the final boss, is. The World of Evil is different from the rest of the worlds in that there's no town. Basically, it's just a continuous dungeon. Hey, super handy. Talking about the 3 symbols there. Those are 3 red-hot items we're going to need in order to actually be able to fight the final boss. Those, but 2 for 1 special. I like to call the Starfield background and the quintet background, just because the quintet space background shows up in some form in basically every one of their games. Just gained 2 levels in like a minute or two, too. Just the experience curve, just the amount of experience you get per kill just tends to increase a fair bit from world to world. Because of how underleveled we are in the speedrun, that often translates into getting some pretty fast level ups at the start of each new world. All these damage boosting through the blocks here. Having the super bracelet helps so much. That's right. It's medical. Normally I use it on the way to getting the soul armor. Soul armor is required too. If you don't have that, the soul armor basically lets you breathe in outer space, and if you don't have it, whenever those spooky meteors with faces in the background appear, you take a bunch of damage. And so the soul armor is the best armor in the game. The soul blade, excuse me, is the best sword in the game. Lets you damage anything in the game, I believe, except for the snowballs and Mountain of Souls. So with that, we've reached the end of the World of Evil. Now it's time to do a bit of backtracking. Find the 3 symbols, the red hot ball, stick, and mirror, in order to get the Phoenix spell to fight the final boss. Not the biggest fan of this backtracking segment in the speedrun, but it's pretty. I think it's pretty cool casually, just because when you play this game casually, one of the first things you're generally going to want to do after you get a new weapon that lets you do stuff you couldn't previously do is to go back and deal with like monsters that were invincible before. Yeah. I know, yeah, I know it has a little more punch behind it in the Japanese version. What hot items are called. I believe they're based on items that are basically the Japanese imperial regalia or something like that, just kind of symbols of the Japanese emperor. So we get another jerk falcon. Sneak up on to get one. So even though the soul armor lets you breathe in outer space, it does not let you breathe underwater, but that's okay, because I'm gonna run down my health for taking an intentional death after I need to do it down here. This is where skipping the mermaid tier mini quest earlier on helps too, because that greatly speeds up being able to death warp out of here, being able to still have the magma active to step on it. AS Grunt, yes. Esther apparently hasn't gotten the memo that we are going here. Constantly telling us not much. About to hear one of Everhate's favorite lines. The Phoenix resides on the stick. Often one of his traditional raid messages. Alright, now we're gonna go finally talk to the Mountain King that we released like 40 minutes or so ago. We didn't need to talk to him to leave his world, but we do need to talk to him to be able to beat the game. First time we talked to him, we get the dialogue we were supposed to get after beating Poseidon. So yeah, more like... Talk to him again to have him call the Phoenix for us. Dancing grandmas! Alright, so we've got the Phoenix, which is the spell we need to fight Deathtoll. Really, the only remaining order of business before we can finish the run is to grind to level 24, because it's as proof that early 90s Japanese game developers were big fans of internet memes. You need exactly 420,000 experience points in order to beat Soul Blazer. Hey Jeff, evening. Hey Sarah. Oh, thanks, appreciate it. Yeah, I'm really humbled that I got the opportunity to do that. Yeah, hey Spike, yep. Section, I went in the right. But even though we need almost 200,000 more experience than we currently have, there is a really, really nice grinding loop that I can do in order to do it quickly, along with get some gems, which I'm going to need to use the Phoenix. Yeah, that sounds about right. I mean, when you play this game casually, I mean, you're pretty much always going to be hitting the level requirement for each sword around the time that you get it, if not sooner. I'm looking for 396,000, which I can then get to 420,000 on the go. Oh, hey, old drunk. Yeah, I'm just doing one run tonight, but I had some people watching that have never seen the game before. The commentary run. This was in a very early SGDQ, like 2012 or so. I know somebody ran this, and then I ran Illusion of Gaia after that. 24 is necessary because you need to be able to swing the Soul Blade in order to damage Deathtolls' second form. I love cute little chibi Deathtoll there too. Yeah, if I was not level 24, I would just flat out not be able to damage the second form here. Also, Deathtoll is chilling in what's the background that later becomes the menu screen in Illusion of Gaia. For the Deathtoll fight, kind of the main optimization here is lag management, because whenever Deathtoll's lasers are on screen, if he breathes fire, then that creates a lot of lag. So you have to kind of make decisions on if you want to wait out a laser cycle, just accept the lag. Here, this would have taken a while, so I just lag there. It's like 50, something in the low to mid 50s as far as the number of hits. Alright, and we got him. 53, 8 or 49. Nice run. Thanks for the GGs, everybody. This is not terribly close to either my real PB or particularly good time at this game, but we had fun. And that's what we're here for. And all issues here could be blamed on Everhate. If anyone doesn't know who Everhate is, by the way, too, there you go. One of the first kind of serious speedrunners of this game, and he unfortunately passed away about a little over 8 years ago now. And I like to do some runs of this game, usually in the spring, but because I had runs in both RPG Limit Break and Summer Games Done Quick this year, I had to delay it until summer. This compared to my real PB anyway. Yeah, looks like time I lost was in the... I didn't actually... I had no unplanned deaths in this run, but lots of time lost just because of rust and safeties and stuff. But yeah, an actual good time would be is sub 140. 40. Oh, thanks, Tracers. I might throw this. I'm probably going to throw this run on YouTube, actually, just because I've never actually done a marathon-style commentary run of this game before, because I ain't good enough at this game to run for marathons, and I'm okay with that. Let's have fun busting it out once a year. Oh, thanks, Pop Jorts. Oh, thanks, Fazloft, yeah. Yeah, there used to be a community race of this game every spring, too, though that, unfortunately, the interest in that kind of faded over time, but I still like to do my own thing, too, and ever hate. Always warms my heart to hear your love for this game, too, in chat when I do runs of it. It's just really unfortunate that this game's never been re-released at all, too. Like, it's never even been on, like, the Virtual Console or the Switch online service or whatever it's called now, too. Only ever released in cartridge form on the SNES. I think the only Quintet game that actually got a Virtual Console release was ActRaiser. Yeah, if anybody again just plug to if this looked interesting or fun at all to you, give this game a play. There's a lot of neat stuff that you just don't see in any percent speedrun of the game like this too, like a lot of extra. There's 6 more spells that I didn't get, just like 4 more weapons, a lot of extra souls and lore and stuff. And it's pretty short and sweet too. Like it's casual play of this game should be like 8 to 10 hours, if even that, I'd say. That's something I've come to respect a lot with age too. Is a game that kind of does something well and then doesn't overstay its welcome. Just sends you on your way, respects your time. I mean, for older games like this, that was kind of less intent and more just because of limitations of the time. But for newer games too, I definitely appreciated a solid like 8-10 hour game, is but not like one has to be 100 or more. Anyone's new here, by the way, definitely appreciate you stopping by. I stream on most Sundays in the evening, US Central Time. A little bit of a crossroads right now as far as what I'm going to be doing next exactly. Definitely not done with Lufia 2 forever. I would like at some point to make a push for one more PB and see if I can get the fastest time at least once. I definitely am not feeling like that right now, so... Plus, if I want to have a game or games to submit to next year's RPG Limit Break or Games Done Quick, I need to start learning some new stuff. Figuring that out is going to be the next goal. Yeah, I've heard the same thing, Snowfire, which is really unfortunate. I know I'm sure that just rights and legal issues are a big part of why there's never really been any proper re-releases of any Quintet games other than ActRaiser getting on the Virtual Console. Oh yeah, I'm very much looking forward to Visions of Mana. I mean, it's been forever since there's actually been a new Mana game that's not a remake or remaster. But if it's anything like the Trials of Mana HD remake that came out in 2020, I'm expecting it quite good. And the trailers and stuff have been showing Booskaboo, also known as Fuskav, which is the honk turtle. Your sea transportation that has a built-in honk button. And yep, yeah, my SGDQ run was on my birthday this year. A lot of fun to birthday wishes and donation comments. Oh yeah, this is where we also get to hear the song that we heard for a few seconds back in Magrid's Castle. Becomes the credits theme for the game. Oh yeah, and if anyone's interested too, here's a pretty cool vocal version too, which I believe is official too. It's like like when I'm looking at the credits here, it does mention Yukihide Takekawa, who's the composer for this game, so I'm pretty sure he actually wrote these lyrics. I think the SNES version sounds quite nice too. Fun little fact too, in the Japanese version of the ending, Lisa has anime eyes instead of smaller eyes, and she's actually praying. That's how she's... I'm reading the translation for these song lyrics too, and this is quite a sad song. Meant to be Lisa's feelings about missing the Soul Blazer who very briefly met and then fell in love with. We're not totally done yet, though. There is a post-credit scene, which has a dialogue prompt in it too, which kind of, funnily enough, quote-unquote ruins the tasks too, because tasks, tool-assisted speedruns, are timed by inputs rather than by like anything else really, and since you need to press buttons after the credits, that means the full ending more or less is part of the task timing. Yep, yeah, she is very much anime eyes. In a post-credit scene too, where we find out that Soul Blazer hasn't forgotten about Lisa too, and chooses to human being, even though memories in the process. Which is a recurring theme in Quintet games too, that save the world at the expense of your the pew sound effect when he appears. Want to buy that text speed for Is That You for the rest of the game? Yeah, so there's the last input. Another one of Everhate's traditional raid messages besides the Phoenix resides on the stick.